Oh, there it is. Save actions. It's going to save it as an ATN file. So I had to save the whole folder, I guess, not just the action. And then it saves it as this thing here. And then if I come in here, like if you have one and you want to use it like on a different computer, then you would come in here and there's a load actions button right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How long will it last if you don't save it, like on your own Photoshop?
It'll stay in your Photoshop. It'll just stay there.
Can you delete it?
Yeah, you can come in and go delete right here.
Okay.
Whenever you're wondering about that too, there's usually always a flyout menu on your palette window. So always check there first for the sort of basic, to be able to load something, to be able to save something, to be able to delete something is usually going to be in that flyout menu. Yeah.
Yeah.
On pretty much every palette window.
Can you also delete specific actions if you feel like changing it?
Actually, I don't know about that. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it.
Cool.
It's something that also, and I probably said this, but you know, if I was doing, I probably said this last time, but if I was doing like a lot of painting of the same scene or something like that, I might set up a starting point for lighting. If I was doing 3, 4 paintings of the same scene, but from different vantage points and things like that. And I might, you know, put that sky color, like a dramatic sky color in there, maybe the ground color, you know, just the big basic hits and maybe a little bit of filtering and things like that, just to get me started so I can just go bing and my lighting set up and then I can start painting into it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it does have, and you know, if you have a certain kind of thing you do, now I'd also be, you know, if it's something you're working on as a project and it has a certain look and a style, whatever, you might be able to create actions for things like that just to speed up your process. But then probably when you go into a new project, you're probably going to have to create new actions for that project because it'll have a different stylistic point of view, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys remember how we went into brushes and we defined a new brush preset, right?
Yeah.
So this one is kind of the same thing. So let's go. I'm just going to take, just using this as a texture. I'm going to go up to edit, define pattern. Okay, so it's right below define brush preset, define pattern. And then I'm going to go. Oh, hang on. I'm going to say feathers. And I should be able to go. Right here, the pattern stamp tool, go up here. I think this is it right here. Let's see. Yeah. And I've got a soft brush here and it will paint in that pattern sort of like your clone stamp tool does, but it's continuous. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this aligned thing does exactly that. See how it is sort of aligned?
Yeah.
That's kind of what this align tool is doing, okay? This impressionistic thing is weird. It just sort of blurs it. See what I mean? Which I don't know. I guess that could be helpful. I don't know why you couldn't just go and blur it after the fact, right?
I was gonna say, what's the point of that?
I don't know. It's kind of like I think a lot of things in Photoshop. Okay, so number one, here's my answer to that. If I go on YouTube and I go pattern stamp brush, impressionistic, blah blah blah, I'll probably find somebody who's doing something totally interesting with it, right?
Mhm.
So I never discount it right off the bat and just go, well, this seems kind of useless, because somebody's probably doing something super cool with it.
True.
So anyway, if you unclick that, you're going to get a little more less alignment or whatever. I still got an impressionistic, which sometimes might be better if I want to get it where it's not so lined up. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Like this, if I built this like this, because this is the way I would use it, I could get this to look pretty much like tree bark here, right?
Hmm.
If I use it not aligned, and I still have to kind of play with it. And then I still probably have to come in here either with my mixer brush or something and kind of break it up a little bit and soften things and maybe smudge an edge and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you could see, or I could even use this right now. I could use that for the start of like a rocky hillside,
Hmm.
right? So a lot of like, if you guys have taken digital painting and they've talked about sort of starting an image with some photo references, just real textural, you could do the same thing in a more targeted way with this brush. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I'd rather go in and sort of start the textural idea if I can myself. Now, sometimes it's kind of cool to start it with a textural sort of random photo stuff, because then you can start painting into it and pulling things out of it. But I could do the same thing here, like I said, in a little more targeted way. I could even go sample maybe, like take a sample off of like some of those red bluffs in like Montana or places like that, if I want that look, but maybe they're going to have a stranger formation, and I could go in and start creating the texture on there just as a base starting point for a painting. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So you remember we've talked about content aware, right?
Hmm.
I'm going here to the patch tool. This is kind of interesting how this works. So I'm going to go right now. We're on, let's go to source, and I'm going to go this little thing here. I don't like, right? Then I'm going to slide this over and find like maybe there. And see how it content awares the stuff around it?
I like that.
Yeah, it's a really nice tool. Now, the thing you got to be careful, with all these tools, by the way, sometimes it's not going to do exactly what you want, right? So you got to go to another tool, okay? Same thing here. I might say this thing. Now, here's the other tricky part is it's taking, well, I have to take all this. So I'm going to take this out. Because you're sliding it around and trying to find something that'll work, like maybe here. Now that's a little funky. I'll probably have to go in and fix that a little bit, but it's not too bad as a starting point. And like over here, it's almost imperceptible. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, the other thing you can do here, so let's just leave that. I might go, okay, so now that's on source. You see that?
Hmm.
By the way, you can add these, this is, let's do this because I got it on normal. So let's go back and try that again. Let's go to content aware. I thought I was already on content aware. Yeah, it's still a little funky there. So I could just come in here and maybe just add just a little tiny bit of paint over it. But I'd probably just maybe clone it just around that edge right there or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what's also, let's try the, okay, so let's try something else here. let's go to destination. So I might go, I don't like that over there. So maybe I'd come in here, grab this. And see how it drops her into the background?
Can you do that one more time?
Yeah. Okay. So what the main thing here is, there's two modes here. There's source and destination. Source is where you're going to do what I did the first time and then slide it around till I find a patch of something that works. And then destination is taking the kind of the opposite, taking something from somewhere else and moving it, and then it's going to blend that into the background. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So now I put it on destination. I move her over. And it just pops her into the scene, right? Now, the reason this over here isn't working, by the way, is because this is further away and I picked up stuff from the foreground. So there's too much information visually here for it to be that far away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it'd be better if I could have pulled it from like right here. And I probably could go, okay, does that make sense how I just moved that person?
Yeah, it feels almost like a copy tool,
Which copy tool?
like a control copy.
Like a cut and paste?
Yeah.
No, it's not, because the difference is it's content aware.
Okay.
So if I cut and paste it, usually, and I don't know how much this will stick out, but if I cut and paste something, it's just going to put that, see, you can see that fringe around it,
Yeah.
like here, like if I put it up here, whatever. It's just literally cutting whatever you did. What this does is it's blending it into the surrounding information,
Okay.
right? Which, well, let's see, and oh, but the other thing I was going to say is maybe I could go over here. Like, I don't like that's too visual. It got rid of that trash cans or whatever I didn't like, but maybe I can take, let's go back to the patch tool. We're on destination. I'm going to take this little patch here. And that starts to blend into it a little better. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Or
Are you
maybe, go ahead.
Are you holding anything when you move it, or is
No.
it just okay?
Because the tool's just designed to do this. Oops. I'm off my patch tool. So yeah, I could blend this back in a little bit just by, instead of, actually, that's not too bad right there. I might just smudge that a little bit. Pull a little of that in. And I could probably get this to work where you're not going to notice it. I might put, something back here, another umbrella back here. I might populate it a little bit. The thing, and the thing that's kind of cool about it is if I start putting things in, like I take a little piece of the landscape and I put it over, and now the rocks are repeating, I can just take the rock out. I can pull another one over here to make it look like things aren't repeating. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I might go in and just use a little bit of my regular stamp tool just to sort of blend things and push the edges together and things like that. Again, it's usually you need to go in and trick it out a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. Let's try this. Let's do one that's a little closer. Like in this. Let's try this. This will be a little trickier. I think you can also just use the regular selection tool. Let's see. I don't know if I would use that for this, but let's just see. And then go to the patch tool. Yeah, I think you can. I'm going to go to source. You know, and if I could find a clean patch of grass here, it's a little hard on this one. I could start to get rid of this guy, right?
Yeah.
But you can see I've got to kind of, now another way, let's try this. Let's go to destination. I'm going to try and pick the grass that's near him. Yeah, I could start getting rid of them like that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going up here near him. So if I can't go and just move it over in a simple way, I might do it this way.
You're not on the patch.
Oops. I knew that.
Just testing, right?
Yeah. You know, and it's picking that up a little bit, which I don't like, but you know, I'd probably come over here. What I got to do probably is try, it's going to, as much as it can, it's going to analyze the stuff around it and try and make it blend in. But sometimes I got to kind of help it a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if this would work, I would probably get rid of this little dirt patch here. If I was going to get rid of this guy or this guy here, but it's pretty, and now if I have a big patch of grass over here, then I can just slide them over and that stuff's going to line up really good because it's similar. The lighting's similar, the color's similar. It's going to have a much easier time figuring out how to make it blend in, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
This transparent one I've never used. So I'll have to look into that. Let's try something here. I've got transparent. Oh, okay. So it literally does, it's transparent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that could be interesting because I didn't know it did that. That could be interesting if I want to get, I could use that actually to get, like, let's say I have a newspaper and I want to age it. I might pull some sort of spattery thing and throw it over it. Now, normally I do it with an overlay, but I mean, there could be an interesting thing here for laying over a texture or pattern over something, right?
Yeah.
But that's just this transparent tool. Okay, so just remember you got source, which is the one you're moving the stuff around. And then you got destination, which is where you're picking something up and moving it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can, you know, and then you got content aware, which I think most of the time, now everybody understands what content aware is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, obviously it's just thinking about what's around it, which really helps. Okay, questions on this?
No, I don't think so.
I think it's pretty straightforward. It's the only two tools I want to talk about today. Like I said, I want to really go over everything this weekend and see what I want to cover, what I got left. All right, you guys, I'll see you on Monday.
Professor, can I talk to you for just a couple of minutes after
Sure.
class?
Yeah.
For homework, do you want what we just went through, the where?
Yeah, just do a quick pattern and just pattern brush and just do a quick or a, you know, edit of an image, taking things out and adding things into different areas. That's it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, you guys,
Thank
I'll see you
you.
on Monday. And